Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into this video. My name is Carmen Calderon. I'm the State Republican Executive Committee man for SD 20. In this video, we're going to do an overview of the convention process for 2022, specifically for the people in Nueces County. We're going to start with how to go from the precinct convention all the way to the state convention. The convention process really gets kicked off with the primary election. The primary election this year is Tuesday, March 1st. Conventions are a major function within the party. The Republican Party of Texas is a bottom-up organization, so the convention process is used for everyone to have a voice in the direction and the shape of the party moving forward. The precinct convention in Nueces County is going to be Saturday, March 5th. Then we're going to have our county senatorial district conventions on Saturday, March 26th. And then finally, the state convention is going to be in June 16th through the 18th in Houston. All right, so here's a nice graphic of the convention process. You got all your voters that voted in the Republican primary. They may attend the precinct convention, and then from there you elect delegates to your county or senatorial district convention, and there you elect delegates to go to the state convention. At the state convention is where we elect our state chair and our vice chair, and also our state executive committee. Now, if you just start at the right, you got your primary voters. They directly elect your precinct chairs and your county chair. And then your county chair and your precinct chairs make up your county executive committee. All right, so precinct conventions. Who can attend a precinct convention? People who live within that precinct, that have voted in the Republican primary that year, or if they didn't vote in the primary, they need to sign an oath of affiliation to the Republican Party. If they voted in the Democratic primary, they cannot participate in the Republican Party convention process. Nueces County has 128 precincts. All right, so the purpose of the precinct convention is to elect the delegates to the senatorial or county convention, also to submit, consider, and vote on resolutions. And all the resolutions that are passed at the precinct convention get submitted to the SD or county convention resolutions committee. All right, here in Nueces County, we're going to hold all of our precinct conventions on March 5th at the Nueces County Courthouse. The address of that is 901 Leopard Street, Corpus Christi. The date, like I said, is Saturday, March 5th. We will start at 9:30. What is a resolution? A resolution is a formal statement of expression of an opinion that is put before the entire body of the convention for adoption. It must be offered by a delegate, and then it can be discussed, debated, and or amended. It must be passed by the delegation of the entire convention before it advances to the next level of convention. The whole point of these resolutions are basically to get them into the party's platform, which steers the direction of the Republican Party of Texas. Some resolution guidelines. You want it to be written so that it's clear and legible. Your best bet is to type it and print it. If you're going to bring these to your precinct convention, your best bet is to type them out, print them, and bring 3 copies. You want to present it in a standard resolution format, which has your whereases, which are your reasons for the resolution, and then the resolved. That's the meat of the resolution, what you want done. Your resolution should meet the general standards of the Republican Party. You want your resolutions to address issues that can actually be influenced by the Republican Party of Texas. And resolutions should be different from what's already in the state party platform. You don't want to repeat platform issues. In the past, the party would start with a fresh platform every convention cycle, but they adopted a new rule last convention that you're going to start with the previous year's platform. So there's no need to resubmit stuff that is already in the platform, but you can submit resolutions of stuff you may want taken out of the platform. If there is something in the platform that you know people are trying to get rid of, then you might want to introduce a resolution just reaffirming that you want that plank to stay in our state platform. Okay, so we have county and Senate district conventions. Now, this gets a little confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. If a county is completely within one senatorial district, and when I say senatorial district, I'm talking about the Texas State Senate. If your county is completely in one Senate district, you have a county convention. If your county has more than one Senate district, you have to have multiple conventions. We call these Senate district conventions. Here in Nueces County, we have 2 senatorial districts, so we have to have 2 conventions. Our 2 districts are Senate District 20 and Senate District 27. Here's a map of Nueces County with our senatorial districts. So as you can see, in pink is Senate District 20. That's kind of the northern half of the county. You got the northwest area, Calallen, Annaville, downtown, North Beach, and along Corpus Christi Bay, and the north part of Flower Bluff. And for 27, it's mostly the southern half of the county with the southern half of Flower Bluff, Padre Island, and Port Aransas. Our senatorial district conventions are going to be held on Saturday, March 26th. Who can attend this convention? These conventions can be attended by anyone who was elected at their precinct convention to be a delegate to the senatorial district conventions. It's very important that you get elected at your precinct convention. No delegate can be added after the precinct convention adjourns. If for some reason you're going to be out of town on March 5th and you cannot make your precinct convention, you need to make sure that somebody in your precinct nominates you and gets you on the list of delegates if you want to go to the SD convention. The purpose of the senatorial district conventions is to elect delegates to our state convention. We also submit, consider, and vote on resolutions that we want to move on to the state convention. All the resolutions that are passed at the senatorial district conventions will move on to the state convention's resolutions committee. And actually at that level, the state convention, it's called the platform committee. The Nueces County senatorial district conventions, both SD20 and SD27, are going to be held in the same location at the Atrium Hotel, Corpus Christi Airport and Convention Center, which is just off of SPID and Leopard, 5549 Leopard Street, Corpus Christi, Texas. And we will begin that convention at 9:30 a.m. The Republican Party of Texas State Convention is going to be held June 16th through the 18th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston. Here's just a quick review before we moved on to the committees. The primary election is Tuesday, March 1st. The precinct conventions are going to be Saturday, March 5th. At the precinct conventions where we elect delegates to the SD convention and pass resolutions. At the senatorial district conventions are going to be held Saturday, March 26th. Nueces County will have 2 senatorial district conventions, SD20 and SD27. There we'll elect delegates to the state convention and we'll pass resolutions to move on to the state convention. And finally, the state convention is in Houston in June 16th through the 18th. Okay, so at the senatorial district convention, we have 5 committees that help the process of that convention. Credentials Committee, the Rules Committee, the Permanent Organization Committee, Nominations Committee, and Resolutions Committee. Each committee has different tasks that they have to do, some before, some during, and some after the convention. So the first committee we're going to look at here is the Credentials Committee. Before the convention, they're going to check and make sure that all the delegates that were submitted have voted in the primary or that they have taken an oath of affiliation. Basically, they are credentialing the convention, making sure that the delegates are eligible to be there. During the convention, they'll hear of any contest. If somebody says, hey, that person wasn't at the precinct convention and they weren't voted in, how are they a delegate? The committee will hear from both sides and make a determination on that. And vice versa, somebody might have been left off as a delegate and they're like, hey, I was at my precinct convention. Somehow my name didn't get put through, but I was there, and they'll hear testimony and they'll decide on that. After they do all that, they will recommend the permanent role of the convention to the body, and then that's accepted, and then that is the delegates for that convention. Once they do that, their job is pretty much done, and they don't have anything to do after the convention. Bulk of their work is before the convention. Rules Committee. This is another committee that does a lot of work before the convention. They are going to draft up what's called supplementary rules for a convention. The RPT, Republican Party of Texas, already has a set of rules on how to run conventions, but each senatorial district convention can make their own rules to supplement those rules as long as they don't contradict. Some examples of that I've seen in the past is rules on debate. So they might recommend a rule where during debate, you only get 3 people speak for, 3 people speak against. They each get X amount of minutes, maybe 2 minutes each. And then once each side has had 3 people speak, you move to a vote. This committee will draft all of those, and then they will present those rules to the whole body of the convention, and all the delegates will vote whether or not they want those rules. And the body can also amend. So say the rules committee comes up with a list and somebody wants to tweak it or change it a little bit, they can move to amend the report, and then they can change that rule. And if the delegation votes to change it, then it'll get changed, and then they vote on the whole thing, and that becomes the rules that govern that convention. They don't have anything to do after the convention because they're just there to set up the rules for the convention. The Permanent Organization Committee. This is the committee that plans the convention. They do a lot of work before the convention. They come up with everything, getting a venue, getting the agenda together, setting up the seats, everything that has to do with the preparation of the convention. On convention day, they will hold the election for the permanent convention chairman. Once a permanent chairman is elected, their job's done, the chairman takes over, and the convention rolls on. And there's nothing for them to do after the convention. It's all pre-convention work. The Resolutions Committee. This is a very important committee that has a lot of work to do throughout the whole process. So the Resolutions Committee will review all the resolutions that were passed from the precinct conventions. They'll go through them and clean up formatting, grammar. They'll try to combine similar resolutions. Basically, they take all of those resolutions and condense them into one report. Before the convention, the committee will vote on which ones they want to move on and give to the whole body of the SD convention. During the convention, they kind of finalize their report. If somebody wants to introduce a resolution and they didn't submit it at their precinct convention, they still can. They just have to submit it to the secretary within 30 minutes after the convention convenes. That will be given to the Resolutions Committee. So during the convention, the Resolutions Committee will meet again. They'll go over what they've done before the convention, any new resolutions that came in. They'll take testimony from delegates. They'll finalize their recommendations report, and then they will present that to the entire body of the convention. And then, again, all the delegates get to decide if they accept that report or not. They can amend it. They can debate it. They can take some resolutions out, add some. It's really up to the entire body of the convention. But the committee does all the pre-work to kind of get everything consolidated and presentable. After the convention, the Resolutions Committee chairman has to take that final report with any amendments that may have happened, put it in a standard format, and send it to the platform committee for the state party. The Nominations Committee, their job is to draft a list of delegates to go to the state convention. So before the convention, they will take applications and interview people, and they will try to come up with a list of delegates to go to the state convention. At the convention, they'll meet again. They'll take testimony from delegates. They may move some people around. They may add some. They might take some off, depending on the will of the body. Then they'll finalize their report. And again, same as resolutions, they present the report to the full body of the convention. Once it's presented, the body will vote on it. Now, again, they can debate it. they can amend it. They can move to take some people off. They can move to add people, whatever they want to do. And then once that report is voted on, after the convention, the nominations committee has to take that entire list. They have to make sure they get all the contact info for all the delegates and send that to the state party. Then the state party uses that list so they know who is qualified to be delegates to the state convention in June. All right, so here's some action items for you. You want to inform your precinct, all your voters, of the convention dates. Try to get some good participation. Invite participation. This is, for a lot of people, this is their first introduction into, volunteering and doing something for the Republican Party. So we can get them to the convention, let them see how everything's done. They're more likely to become volunteers later on. So we want a lot of people there. We want input for the direction of the party. And make some well-crafted resolutions. I would recommend going to the Texas GOP website and looking at our party platform. It's huge, but you might want to take some time, read through some of the planks, and think about what you may want to change and introduce those resolutions at your precinct convention. Thank you for watching.